Intro. We've all heard of Luigi's Mansion. Truly, we have. If you haven't, I don't know why you're watching this, but hey, I guess you clicked for a reason. But you should subscribe, pretty please, if you like this content. But anyways, back to Luigi's Mansion. It got a sequel, which is the one I'll be talking about today because it's a little game for the Nintendo Switch. Ported from the 3DS, of course, so nothing too revolutionary in the remake, but it's all about the fun, really. It really doesn't matter because the gameplay changes aren't too massive from the 3DS to the Switch as well. Luigi starts off sleeping as he's just chilling. I know one place that isn't chilling, and that's Evershade Valley. That's because the Dark Moon just got broken by King Boo, was his crystal crown. The Dark Moon is very important because it's what keeps these ghosts sterilized. I mean chillaxed. But now they go feral as they have nothing keeping them at bay. Now that's wild. Now Egad calls Luigi and is like, please help me. I need it really bad. Luckily for Egad, Luigi doesn't get to say no, so he's just pixelated to the laboratory against his will, but the laboratory looks like Egad's head. That totally isn't narcissism. No, why would it be? So anyways, he's like, you need to catch these ghosts, Luigi. You better hop to it. But he says it like... So we hop to it. At the Gloomy Manor as the first of 5 mansions. It's just an average looking house with nothing special to it. Just a tutorial mansion was coincidentally everything needed for the journey in it. We get the Poltergeist 3000 from the car inside the garage as the first step, then use it a little on the green ghosts. Then we collect gears to make a fishbowl go down in the foyer. Red ghosts take the gears that go down, so we have to collect them. After doing that, because it's just collecting the ghosts, we unlock the upper floor to the library and all of that. Speaking of the library, that's where the next mission for this mansion is. Really just having to stop a big brain Redditor ghost, as I'll call it, because he is pure evil and look at the head. Then we get the next upgrade to the flashlight. It really is just turning black and white paintings into color, since the dark light, as it's called, just does that. It also uses its magical abilities to get things out of the paintings that they're trapped in. Remember that it comes in useful later, so after getting this knowledge and power, we obviously clean spiderwebs out of the mansion. Then we fight a big spider because it has the first part of the Dark Moon in it. There's 5 pieces total, and this is the first one controlled by a possessor. So all that really needs to be done in this fight is burning down the spider web. Not arson, by the way, don't think it's that. Mainly just done by bringing a little connecting cobweb to burning nightsticks. Then bam, 1 Dark Moon piece and the mansion's complete. The coincidental mansion's done. The next mansion is easily one of the top 3 mansions in this game, just due to the atmosphere. I personally like the idea of the hotel and the tall floors and all that. It's pretty nice. I would say though that it doesn't take full advantage of it, but that's for later. What's the first thing you do, you may be wondering? Well, it's just fixing some pipes. Pretty easy. False. There are a million things to do before we get to the pipes, and we have to fix them. Also, once we do get there, it's inhabited by a big fat ghost that doesn't move. Just because this and how much this thing spits, it's hard to actually capture it. You would see if you went up against it. After this, we have to get to that giant tree, the one up there. We're about to do that until they take the pinwheel pins from the pinwheel, then the sneaky ghosts run off with them. After going across the entire hotel to explore where they brought them, we actually get all of them. Phew, that was a close one. Now, we have to get a toad assistant from the graveyard. Ignore the fact that there's just a graveyard behind the hotel. One thing that's very important is these toads, because you'll notice they're in every mansion except for the first one. But this one is the basic red hat one that we all know and love. After this, we deal with 3 dead sisters. Let's just say they're even more dead now. Then we bring Toad back to Egad, so he's safe. Now is the information we have to get into the pool room on the tippy top of the left tower. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I would stay in this hotel. It seems too tall and doesn't have anything like any hotel brand I know of. But anyways, we make our way up there. Pretty standard journey, not gonna lie. But then, when we get up there, we have to get the key, which is done by sucking up some pinker ghosts. The key has been claimed, but then the polterpup takes the key. So, not too good for us. That's the dog, by the way, the ghost dog. Then we chase him down by using the dark light. Ooh, very cool reference to why we have this. Anyways, we get him in the key. You may be wondering where the key leads to. Easy answer, that giant tree in the middle of the hotel building. Which, don't question why that is. The one that is freakishly huge, by the way. Of course it would do this, though. Anyways, let's go inside it. And there's a billion stairs to climb. Hopefully, we pick the right ones for all of these choices. If you can't tell, this is the most tedious process to do for a boss. Then, once we finish pain, which is choosing right, we fight a bed at the top of the tree, which has another dark moon piece in it. Guess what? Another possessor. This time was 2 horns instead of 1. Ooh, symbolism, do you get it? We capture him, of course. Let's go. And we have 40% of the pieces recovered for the dark moon. We start off the mission by entering the time-themed mansion and just going through the ground floor. Just going the way end of the first floor and then flooding that room with sand. But not too big of a deal, that doesn't matter. Let's just continue to get the compass for the big clock. That's the point of the mission, BT dubs. But then we get the compass, so yay. So speaking of, let's go underground to find the hands for the big clock. The compass was to make sure the hands turn, I think. I don't fully know. I forgot how EGAD said it. Anyways, let's go underground by 2 levels. I bet you didn't know that houses can have more than 1 basement. That's right, they can't. Because OSHA law exists, these rooms need to have windows. And I can tell you there are no windows in these rooms. After going through the OSHA violations, we get to the tomb where the clock hand is, before the blue Brainiac Redditor ghost takes it. But then you would have never guessed what happens next. Mummies come out of the ground and we have to take the bandages off of them. Just to be revealed to be some green ghosts. Then we go and get the clock hand that was stolen. Bam. This is easy. It's just going through the long hall of rooms to get to the roundhouse area, where the blue Brainiac is. We capture it and get the first of 2 clock hands, which is so cool. Halfway there. Now for the other piece, which is taken by the polterpup. So, wow. Fun chase now. We have to chase it down, and we do that pretty quickly like we did in the previous mansion. So now we have 2 hands and the compass, but we just need the connecting part. So let's go get a toad assistant who knows where it is. This time it's a yellow toad because it matches with the desert aesthetic. But then we bring him back by going through the basement level. He gets back and we have the final piece now since we got it on our journey. Now to head to the top of the clock tower. All of our pieces have been acquired, so we have to go get the dark moon piece. We first have to face off against a time-themed boss. So we get to see everything we've ever gone up against to this point. So after defeating the possessor on every 4-hour mark, by the way, we're able to get a 3rd dark moon piece. Pretty cool, right? Yep, it is. This is one of my favorite mansions when it comes to the themes of it. But that's my opinion. This is, of course, also the shortest mansion in the game, but we start off with saving a toad. You'll never guess what color he is. I'll give you a second. That's right, he's blue. So we get him from the hut, but he jumps for joy, so the ice below him breaks. Okay, you little jumper, you're the reason we're down here. So, you get us out of here. Oh wait, you can't, because you're afraid of water. How are you even an assistant here? It's ice. Anyways, digressing, let's get you back so we do that by just going through the first basement, off through the elevator, which is just here somehow. I don't know how that got here, but whatever. I don't need to know. Anyways, Toad's back. Now let's go to the bottom of the mines. This is where we go to the basement 3, which is definitely an OSHA violation. We get to see all the fun rooms, like the room for burning coal and a slide. Don't forget the new thing that's introduced, the EGAD portals. This lets you teleport to wherever the other portal is located. So after being introduced to that, and basically going to the bottom floor of the mine, we get to see the crystals that are being mined, but not like the emerald mines in South Africa. Whoa, 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 don't say that. These ones are red and give ghosts powers. Now all the ghosts can be speckled, which means they have more HP and do a little bit more damage. That's really all it means. But don't think it means anything more than that, because it's just a cool design feature. Anyways, after defeating them, we now have to go across the chasm. That's the mission name as well. That should be an easy task, except for the 3 speckled ghosts in question that put chains on the door. We go and capture them easily. But now let's go across that chasm, which don't even know how that's there. It's a whole ravine underneath this mansion. Whatever, I guess this is Minecraft. We get across the chasm and then get to the underground cabin where the Dark Moon piece is. After fighting an ice monster, we get it. Which, by the way, that possessor has, you'll guess it, 3 horns. Bam. And now we have our 4th Dark Moon piece. Amazing. Now for the last mansion, the Treacherous Mansion, which is in the middle of a big waterfall. Really scary, right? Yep, it is. I don't care what you say. Anyways, let's go to the front door. Just kidding, Polterpup stole the key to it. Hitting the mark early for the Polterpup mission. But we have to track him down by going underneath the entrance, which is full of a lot of night stuff. Yay! I'm jumping for joy right now. Then after catching him, finally, he doesn't escape this time. We get to go into the mansion truly. Then we get the best Toad mission yet. The one with 2 toads. Can you guess what their colors are? That's right. Green and purple. Hopefully, you got it. We save each of them individually. Not really, but we get them out of their paintings individually. Because that's just how it has to be. Really, I guess. But it's so good. After the 2-toad mission is a success, we see that there's a train. All the toads always bring a photo back, so this time we see that Mario's in the painting. Oh, whoa. Shocker? They've been carrying him around all these mansions, so we have to get him back now. Then we go after him, but not after chasing a book from a speckled Redditor ghost. This is after we go from a planet to get this book from him. After getting into the room, there's a train model in the room that's a pretty big model. So we obviously have to go in it. That's because King Boo is in there. Right? The King of Boos is definitely in there. Egad? Really? False. It's actually one giant Boo that's made up of multiple Boos. You can do this with people too. If you push people together, they'll form a giant person. It's true. We have this giant Boo drilled, though, into the train, and then we suck up all the Boos. Just kidding, we put them in prison. Really, honestly, easy. Ignore the gameplay I have. I stink at this. But right before we can get to the final battle with King Boo, comes the invasion of the ghosts. Now, since they're in full rage mode, this actually is bad. But now we have to get them all, because they're coming through a portal. They're all speckled, by the way, so this is like ODing on ghosts. After going to every room and getting them all, we get back to the terrace. At the terrace is basically where ghost terrorism happens. Ghost 9/11, as you could. So many ghosts, so many of them, attack at the Treacherous Mansion terrace. We get them, and then we go into the portal, following King Boo. We fight some knights with a K for the final Dark Moon piece. Bam! We do it by making him slip on carpet, and then we're all done, right? We're all done. That's all the pieces. False? No. We have to fight King Boo. Yep, that's right. the King Boo. Anyways, it's pretty straightforward. We just make sure spike balls fall on his head after he slams himself into the ground, and then bam, we got him. Just gotta get his HP down. Just kidding, it happens once, then we're transported into a mysterious house. Not too difficult, but my controller has some reason been doing idiotic movements, so it was bad there because there's drift on it. That doesn't sound too difficult if you don't have drift. So we repeat this for 3 times, and bam, King Boo is defeated, and the game is beaten. We get Mario out of the painting. Yay, guys! Get your yippies out now before the credits. Now to talk about the missions, because there's an argument for both lengths in terms of how long it takes. I know the game is supposed to be bite-sized fun, or however the marketing team would have put it, but I feel like some of these missions could have been combined, especially with the haunted towers and the mine ones. Some of the missions blend well into each other. Now, a good thing to note is on the 3DS version, when the game originally released, it didn't have the technology to keep a game on while it's closed and turned off. That makes sense to make these missions around like 10 minutes. But now that the Switch has the ability to do that, they could have done some changes to it to blend the story together cleaner. Because this game, even though I do really like it, has its pacing problems. We can take the Haunted Mansion, for example, where after the pool party, the Polterpup takes the tree key. Instead of continuing it, the game decides, Luigi, you have to head back right now. Which kind of begs the question, what makes it different if it's just a continuation of it? You just spawn in a different location. That really is my only complaint about it, because I know the Switch has limited hardware, so the game couldn't run at superb graphics, but it's fine for what it is. It's not horrible, but it could be better. I'm not a big graphics guy, I don't know if you guys are or not, but it looks better than the original at least. But I should also mention it now, this is my tier list for the mansions. Since I'm talking about the Switch version, it is important to note how things are different from the original version on the 3DS. It isn't too much stuff, but on the 3DS version, the map was on the bottom screen, so you always had access to it. Unlike this version, where you have to press minus to get to it. So a little annoying, but I would see why they did it. They kind of had to. Then there's the animations, which are a little different, probably because the screen is larger. You don't really need exaggerated animations and expressions when it's more visible, since the 3DS had a lot less screen to work with because of its size and all that. It's easier to spot the difference when you move to the Switch version and see the animations are not like as extreme. So overall, which version is right for you? I mean, if you have a working 3DS and can get the game somehow, then I would say that would work fine. Either one is good to experience the story. I just personally have more time on the original. And I mean a lot more time. It just doesn't matter which one you get, TBH. Now for the music, which I like even though there aren't a lot of tracks. You'll hear the same few tracks over all the mansions, but to be honest, it's a simple but good melody since it uses a Luigi's Mansion-esque sound font. It's a good sound font, so I never mind a song from here. It's just that I wish there was a little more variety. The variety's a good few songs, but also they do act like filler and not really atmosphere setting. The only time it is really atmosphere setting is when you're at the start of a mission and it plays that bang and that scary sound effect like from YouTube to get you scared of what you're going into. Doesn't work on me, by the way, just wanted to point that out. It may work on you, but also I do like that sound effect. It's cool. But I think Luigi's Mansion 1, the original for the GameCube, is better with the sound font it uses. Just because of the sound and the way it uses it. But that's for that game. This game, on the other hand, also makes sense why there aren't too many tracks in the soundtrack. Probably hardware limitations wanting to put it on the cartridge like all 3DS games were when it came out. But with the Switch cartridge, they probably could have done a little more with it. But I guess it's easier for them to make less songs. Also doesn't subtract from the original, so there's that as well. It's the same quality in the remake. So Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon came out on March 20th, 2013. That's 7 years before the release of Animal Crossing New Horizons in 2020. The remake, just called Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, probably because of European and other markets, came out on June 27th, 2024. Now for the numbers. I'll just list each version individually so it's not too confusing who got what. For Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, which is the 3DS version, it got an 86 out of 100 on Metacritic, so pretty high. It got a 9.3 on IGN, which is the same score it also has on Game Trailers. I've never heard of that one. But it also has a 9 out of 10 on Eurogamer. Those are the big name reviewers, so I'm just going to use those ones. I'm not naming every individual one. As for Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, the Switch version, it has a 77 out of 100 on Metacritic and a 4 out of 5 on GameStop. Don't know why that. Not able to find a review on Eurogamer for the remake, but on IGN it has an 8 out of 10, which isn't bad, but overall just a little less than the original, which makes sense really, because remakes usually do that. So that's Luigi's Mansion 2 HD really. If I was able to actually show 3DS footage of mine, I would do both, but I can't do that, so it's just the Switch version. Overall, I'd give Luigi's Mansion 2 HD a solid 9.1 out of 10, since it is a favorite of mine, and I like playing it. Again, I go back to it. I'd recommend playing it, but always form your own opinion by playing it and see if it's for you. Anyways, please like, comment, and subscribe. Pretty please.